My name is Matt, and I'm going to start pitching for a birthday surprise. So, do you remember your first love? How you would like do anything for them, and how you wouldn't change yourself to, make them keep loving you and were blinded by love? So, the story Birthday Surprise is so close to my heart. I went through the pain and trauma trying to find like that person um, that I would totally change my life for and be somebody different. But looking back on it, I should have seen like all the signs and not have been blinded by love and not knowing what love should be and all that kind of stuff. So if the story like even helps one person understand that there's other people out there for you and you don't have to stay in the same relationship and you don't have to change yourself to be somebody else. So this story is a drama, and add some comedy in there to keep the audience on their toes. So Alex is your main character. He's a skater kid from New York. He's really flawed, as really any teenage kid would be. But at the heart of it, he just leads his life and goes through his life with his heart and his feelings, and tries to do the right thing, even if he ends up making mistakes. But if you ever lived your life like um, using your feelings and doing everything from the heart, not using your brain, you tend to make mistakes. He's kind of a pushover, and he allows the people to dictate what he does, and he lets his girlfriend take full advantage of him, which is basically the basis of the story. So Sharon is the antagonist. She's his girlfriend. She believes that she can mold any boy into what she wants in life, even if it means changing everything about them. So why would you be with a person if you want to change everything about them, though? She does not see past her own flaws. She doesn't understand that she has flaws. She's kind of full of herself, and she it just expects everyone to understand her point of view. Sharon's biggest thing is that her father left her when she was very, very young, and her stepfather raised her. Um, and she doesn't really see the value of having a biological father in the picture. She wants Alex to like raise her child, but she doesn't believe that like the mixing of their two genes together would produce the perfect child for them to. Based on looks wise, she doesn't think that like Alex's looks are good enough to have a biological child with. It's kind of a complicated story from there. So the story begins with Alex and Sharon. They get together, and then she kind of drops this bomb on him that she wants to introduce a sperm donor into it. And she wants Alex to be the father, but not the biological father, kind of like her stepfather was. Um, then Alex decides, hey, I need to stand up and be a man and like ask this girl to marry me. And maybe that would make her want me to be the biological father. Maybe, that that would change things. So another character is Brandon, who is Alex's best friend. He sees Alex is making mistakes and wants him to pay attention to the people around him that really care about him. Um, like, for instance, our other friend Kate, who has a huge crush on Alex. But Alex is really blinded by the love of Sharon, by his own love for Sharon, but not even Sharon's like reciprocated love for him. And he can't see like what's right in front of him. So Alex plans this huge birthday party for himself, invites all of his friends, tells them all that, hey, he goes before the party, he takes Brandon, they go to the mall and they're hanging out, and he's like, hey, I'm going to buy this ring, and he picks out the ring and he buys it. He's like, hey, I'm going to ask her to marry me, and that's going to be how this goes, and she's going to, miraculously just want him to be the biological father. So we get to the party, and Alex is walking around, and he's been drinking a little bit. And if we know anything about being, in your late teens, early 20s, you shouldn't be drinking, but, Um, so if we know anything about that, like, you drink and your feelings start to get a little riled up. So Sharon's late, and she finally does show up to the party with Alex's birthday surprise, which is this guy named Scott, who she wants to be the sperm donor. This kind of sends Alex off the rails. Um, and push comes to shove, they try to leave, and Alex doesn't want her to leave, and he wants to prove to her and profess to her that he's stronger than this other guy, so he ends up getting beaten up and left on the ground by Sharon and Scott, and they take off in their car together and leave him behind. After all this, Alex gets picked up by his friends, brought back inside, and he kind of comes to the realization that, maybe this isn't you know, what I want, what I need in my life. Maybe, there is other options. And if she doesn't want me to be the biological father, then, not that being a stepfather is a bad thing, but, you know, being the bottom, like if she doesn't think that he's good enough for that, then why is he good enough to be with her? And why is she good enough for him, really? And then he ends up talking to his friend, Kate, who's been there all along and really cared about him and um, never wanted him to change who he was and wanted him to be the same. And he finally gets to see what is possible when someone actually loves you for you. Um, I think the strongest appeal about this whole movie is that love is like a huge, strong emotion. It'll make people change themselves. It'll make people, you know, go to the ends of the earth to find people. Um, and it has two sides to it. It can be the greatest thing ever, and it can be a thing that's very, very detrimental to you and to your life. And it makes you overlook like discrepancies in your own lives, and it makes you like it blinds you to like the flaws that some people have. And sometimes you just need to look inside yourself and find that. So